and screwed everything up.
She's so good. They're so good at choreography. Like, there's how many times do you think they had to do this take? You know how tired I'd be?
One and done. They didn't even practice.
Oh yeah, this is just not. They're actually freestyling.
Oh, I think it's come up here. She's gonna do it soon.
I want to learn how to do
I
it.
like that. Oh.
She goes, yeah! Yeah! Woo, woo, woo. She hit him in the head, dude.
I know. Oh, she's gotta get off this train. Oh.
Girl.
Oh, watch out. Oh, ah! Oh no.
I hate it.
At least it was that way.
But also, this girl can't catch a break. It's the same leg.
Well, you don't jump onto a moving
It's gonna
train.
happen
That's
a
why you
third
don't do it. If you don't want to have your leg crushed by a train, stay off the train.
Nah, I got it.
Okay.
Welcome back to the break room. This is Inside Marvel, New Rockstar's Marvel reaction and after show. I'm Jessica Clemons, and here with me today is my best friend in the entire universe, Brandon Barrick.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here with you, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I only let you in a couple days. You're not potty trained yet.
It's true. I wear a diaper.
And of course, we're talking about Echo today because we don't know how everyone will be watching this show. This episode of Inside Marvel will cover the first 3 episodes of the series. Full disclosure, we got the episodes ahead of time and we've been itching to talk about them all with you.
That's right. Just the first 3 episodes, though. We haven't seen the last 2 yet. So when we do that Inside Marvel, we'll be very fresh. But we have seen these 3. We've been sitting on them. We've been digesting them. We've been pushing them through our digestive tract.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
I'm hungry. I haven't had lunch yet.
So you need to poop?
You gotta make room to have room, okay?
You are the filthiest man I've ever met in my entire life.
We all do it, folks. We all do it.
I've never pooped in my life. I don't have a butthole. We will have some spoilers in this episode, so go watch the first 3 episodes or watch our summary and go into these episodes knowing a lot. We can't control your viewing habits, okay? We can't tell you what to watch and what not to watch.
It's true.
But I will jump through the TV and strangle you if you don't watch my breakdowns. Our next episode of Inside Marvel will cover episodes 4 and 5 of the series, and that will come out tomorrow. By the end of all of this, we're gonna get into Echo's powers, the Daredevil of it all, and whether or not Echo might sneakily be one of the most dangerous characters the MCU has to offer. I mean, she's bombing trains. She's a terrorist.
I mean, she sent a bomb sight unseen. We know trains often derail. That could have gone right. We don't know who's at the factory. What if one of these henchmen brought their child to work that day? They got their baby in a baby Bjorn.
Stop. Well, wait, standing on the train. No one's in the actual train.
Listen, this country doesn't have universal child care, okay?
I hear
Even if you're a henchman, you gotta bring your baby to work sometimes.
Oh my God. If you're a henchman, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay, but your baby didn't choose to be born into a hench family.
This is Fall of the House of Usher rules where you knew what you signed up for.
You're a baby.
I'm a baby. But also, sorry, just really quick, I didn't think about it until I said it out loud. That I was like, oh my God, she did blow up a train into people.
Yeah, she's making questionable choices at this point in her life.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Thunderbolts, Johnny Mayonnaise.
U.S. Agent?
She's almost with, I think she's up there with U.S. Agent.
John Walker? But first, we're going to do the quickest recap of the first 3 episodes you've ever seen in your life. Each of these episodes starts with flashbacks to Choctaw women, all Maya's ancestors, but we're going to save these for the end because they tie into our first big discussion topic. We'll start with Maya's origin story, starting with her as a child in 2007. We meet her family and see how Maya tragically loses her mom and her leg after the brakes are cut in her car. What was that bird up to? I think the bird cut the
Oh, you think lines. The bird just turned into a shard into a child's
that little woodpecker's up to something. I don't trust it.
Oh, yeah, Woody.
This is also how Maya and her father William become tangled up with Kingpin, as her grandmother Chula blames William for her daughter's death, but he's got a job with Wilson Fisk in the Big Apple thanks to his brother Henry. Nothing could go wrong. We get a series of scenes that's part Hawkeye refresher while fleshing out some of Maya and Fisk's relationship. One of the coolest being the long-awaited Echo and Daredevil fight, which we get early on in the first episode. So great to see this. It's not only badass because it's Echo's first mission, but it's also reminiscent of the Netflix Daredevil series visually from the long takes and handheld camera. It's also what officially brings Echo into the fold with Kingpin. She's one of the only ones who could hold her own against the man without fear, mainly because she didn't know what the hell was going on. She
improvised. Hey, she improvised and she was good at it.
I love that moment where there's like they get into that like area that's fenced in and there's
And
like a table of guns and she looks right at it and she's like, yeah, go get the table of guns.
I love that he was just kicking every single one because I was like, he hates guns, girl.
I love his little sticks with the string on them. Cable. I don't know what you call those things.
He's had them for a very long time.
They didn't really, but in the Netflix series, he was often using just the sticks.
I think it showed a little bit.
I
think the cables especially showed in like the third season when he went for like an upgrade.
I don't remember. That was so long ago.
It's so long ago and it's so quick. In the third season, honestly, Bullseye stole it from me. So
I mean, the third season, we're getting off the rails already. The third season of Daredevil, that ending when he's fighting Wilson Fisk. Oh my God, so good.
Wilson Fisk breaks Bullseye's spine, shatters it.
Brutal.
He fell for it. He was literally like, oh, this is the man that's going to get me back on top. And then he breaks his spine. But as we know, Maya turns on Kingpin because he was the one who wanted her father dead. And we pick up shortly after her shooting Fisk. She's wounded and returns to her childhood home in Tomahawk, Oklahoma. Have you been?
I've never been.
Oh my God, you're missing out. She goes to her Uncle Henry wanting to send Fisk's man a message, if you catch my drift, but he refuses to help her because why would you ever help her do this?
I got a good gig here. I own my skating rink. I'm making some kickback from Wilson Fisk. I'm not gonna.
There's never been a time in the MCU when setting off major bombs ever went in a good direction.
No.
You know, even when Kingpin did it for Vanessa, it was like, oh, look at all the shit you have to clean up now. It did not work for you.
Yeah.
Regardless. So she takes matters into her own hands in episode 2, having her cousin Biscuits help her get materials for a bomb.
Protect Biscuits at all costs.
Protect Biscuits at all costs. And also, don't let him make a bomb.
No.
He's so sweet. And acting as her getaway driver as she pulls some pseudo Mission Impossible stunts and launches herself onto one of her uncle's trains, which carries weapons to his men.
Crazy.
Who is she? Who is this? This isn't Mayako from Hawkeye. Mayako from Hawkeye was a normal fucking girl. She was just kicking it. She just was like, hey, I'm trying to avenge my dad, not trying to blow up a city. Regardless, she succeeds in planting her bomb, but her prosthetic leg gets stuck between 2 train cars in the most horrific second scene of someone's leg getting almost chopped off.
Yeah.
However, after seeing a vision of her ancestors, she's able to find the power to separate the train cars, allowing her to escape. Again, we are going to get into this. At the shipping depot, Fisk's goons open the trunk and BAM! A huge explosion sends Fisk's men flying. This poor white and black man just were like doing their jobs as drug people.
They're just being henchmen.
They're just being, oh, wait a minute. I told you, I already fought on the wrong side. I can't switch my team.
You can't join Team Hench.
I don't want to be a hench. I want to be a goon. Regardless, she goes to her grandfather Scully's shop, who makes her a makeshift leg and urges her to reconnect with her grandmother, which she basically ignores.
Yeah, she's not here to hang out with family, okay?
Yeah,
she's got a job to do.
Hey, look here. I'm just trying to blow up New York City. I'm trying to blow up the moon.
Sorry.
No, I was like, she's just crazy.
She's angry. She's avenging her father. This is very fresh for her. It was only
that's
it was
true.
5 months later, right?
Okay, so wait now? No, we've jumped the time.
Well, yeah, after she shoots Fisk, she goes,
it's only 5 months.
It says like 5 months
and
later.
she's clearly just being chased throughout the city.
She recently was shot.
And so it's like she's just constantly being hunted.
I was like, she hasn't had that wound since New York.
No,
that was a fresh wound.
No, she's being chased. That's why she had to leave New York and go to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And when I say that, I mean like no one ever wants to go back to their hometown.
No one wants to go. You can't go home again.
Oh, in LA, and I have to go back to Olympia, Washington? No. I'd be like, no, just kill me. No.
Well, when Henry finds out about this old Big Bang, he is understandably pissed at Maya, as he and his associates are now on red alert. But what they didn't see coming was Henry's rude employee, Vicky, who, after tipping off Fisk's men, 2 women kidnap Maya as she struggles with seeing visions of her ancestors. What a bad guy. What a bad employee this is. Trying to make a little scratch, impress a lady.
I thought you were for a henchman.
No, he's not a henchman.
He's a henchman.
Okay, because he betrayed his boss. A true henchman would not betray
That's not
their
his boss, though. I don't think that's his boss. He
works for Henry.
Cleaning skates, not doing deals.
But he's also, he's in on it. He knows what's going on.
You saying he's doing cocaine?
No, that's a mafioso thing. It's also a cocaine thing. He's probably in both. Henry, Maya, and eventually her cousin Bonnie are all held captive in the roller rink. Bonnie, who Maya used to regard as her sister, is understandably mad that Maya didn't contact her when coming back to town. But Maya's all business here. Okay,
Yeah,
I love that moment of like the dramatic irony of like, we know that she's locked in the room with Maya and you're just waiting for Bonnie to turn around.
My favorite part was that they're both restrained so they can't sign to each other.
Can't sign to each other.
I was like, you just gotta look at each other.
I do love Maya being like, what do you want me to do? I got a lot to do right now. I don't have time for this.
Oh my gosh, she does it twice.
It's great. Vicky is double-crossed by Fisk's men, led by a very charismatic man named Zane, who I love. And as they search for Maya, she appears, makeshift gunned and arcade guns blazing. It's a terrific action sequence as she makes quick work of Fisk's men until they bring out Bonnie holding a gun to her head. That's how you get them every time. Maya and Henry surrender, but before Zane can kill them off, he's called off. Bonnie is sent home and the duo debrief with Henry saying he's on Maya's side. But there's only one person who could have called off Zane, and it's in the final moments of the episode that we get our confirmation that King is back, baby. Kingpin steps out from the shadows and we cut to black. Man, what a cliffhanger. Thank goodness we got more episodes to watch now. I'm very excited. And we knew Kingpin was alive. I mean, come on.
We all knew Kingpin was alive.
I mean, that was the reveal at the end of the first episode.
It was
just
the
like
IV
his
drop.
patched up eye.
A bunch of shit came out that he was going to be alive, plus the IV drip, plus he was like in the credits.
I mean, even after Hawkeye, we knew he wasn't dead. Right?
Yeah.
You don't kill Kingpin like that.
But I understand that where the writing is, where it's like, yeah, you should believe a man that got shot in the face would die immediately. But for some reason, Kingpin doesn't.
I love that moment when Zane's got him at gunpoint, he's about to shoot, and then the phone rings, and his ringtone that he's chosen for Wilson Fisk is In a New York Minute, which was just like beautiful.
In a New York Minute?
Anything can change in a New York Minute. Ooh.
Fact check.
I don't know if that's the title of the song.
I think it's 38. It's special. It's seconds. It's Second Chance by 38 Special.
Is it called Second Chance? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the song is called.
My mom used to listen to it every day when she cleaned on Sunday.
York Minute.
No, that song is perfect for a crazy fucking person. But then it's also the allegory of like, it's a second chance.
Yeah.
You guys get a second chance to live. Also, technically, I'm not trying to be this person. I just like stirring up chaos. You see my shirt. I'm a crazy woman.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's actually Fisk that calls.
That's true. We don't know
We just
who calls.
assume. I'm onto the fact that I just really want to see Bullseye. And this is the bionic Bullseye that we're seeing. So this is actually Bullseye. It's not Poindexter or whatever the hell. This is actual Bullseye. And if it's actual Bullseye in the comics, Bullseye is a Looney Tune.
Sure.
No, crazier than he was in the series. He's more like aligned with being normal crazy. It's weird. And I'm like, oh, I can see him now running people and running shit. I also think that Henry's actually a part of the Black Knife Cartel and didn't work directly for Fisk. He actually worked for Zane. And that's why Zane was like, what's up, buddy? What's up, friend?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, it was interesting. It did seem like Wilson Fisk has set up these companies throughout the country, right? And as the train goes through, people add their elements to it, right? It's not like the train started here and ends in New York. It was, because when he's talking with those people later, when Henry's talking to those other people, he's like, our part was cool. We're cool. We're good. We're all good.
But
so it did sound
car,
like, was DX9 his car?
Yeah, DX9 was his, and that was the one that went off. And that's why. But also, what I respect about Henry is that he was like, "It's not gonna fall on you; it's gonna fall on me."
Right.
And I was like, "Damn,
that's a good manager. That's a good
but
manager."
But I still feel, I don't know. Maybe I just always want the most evil person to be the nicest one, or the one that I'm most attractive to, and so I want him to be bad. I want him to be.
He's probably still bad.
I think he worked for. I genuinely think he works for Zane. Okay. Absolutely. Okay.
Let's get into it.
So each of these episodes opens with a flashback to the Choctaw past, specifically following women who are Maya's direct ancestors. Episode 1 is the story of how the Choctaw people were created, featuring the first Choctaw Chaffa leading the people out of the cave.
Episode 2 shows us a game of Choctaw stickball, or as it's known, Ishtaboli, between the Choctaw and Cherokee, seemingly to settle a land dispute, with a woman named Lowak clinching the victory for the Choctaw. And episode 3, of course, starts off with Tuklo, a daughter of the Light Horsemen, a tribal police force set up to protect the native nations. She saves her father and other Light Horsemen in a shootout. Each of these women, in their time of need, have a vision of a spiral, just like Echo when her leg is pinned, it like kind of shows up on her hands there. Very cool.
So my first question for you, Brandon.
Great, hit me.
What are Echo's newest powers?
Strength and power. I mean, like, this has kind of been like a large discussion point prior to the series, right, Jessica? The director, Sydney Freeland, she told Variety, quote, her power in the comic books is that she can copy anything, any movement, any whatever. I will say that is not her power. I'll just kind of leave it at that, end quote. But we're getting some teases here about what this new power might be, and maybe it's not so far off from her comic book character. Could it be that she's just like echoing the skills of her ancestors? I mean, like, her grandfather or her grandma's ex-boyfriend, I guess is that what
Yeah,
we'll
it's
describe
their
him?
boyfriend. Yeah, they're dating.
You know, he says like, you know, your grandma can trace your lineage like all the way back to the Chaffa, right? So it's like, I think they're saying that like this specific line of Choctaw women has this kind of ancestral power, which I think is like a theme in the MCU, right?
Yeah.
There is this idea of like family power, ancestral power.
I think that's the thing is it's more than just those generations that it went through, because we
Right.
have like a little girl, we have a woman that's playing stickball, and then we have the first Chaffa. And I'm like, I think it's like the same thing with Miss Marvel. She had.
I was thinking the same thing, right?
Maybe not mutant yet. Maybe because they don't want to talk about that anymore in the MCU. They're like, oh, we'll give it a second.
And I don't know if you want to say her like ancestral power is a mutation.
Yeah,
like
but
a
I think
genetic
it's something in
mutation.
her, because I don't think Chola has ever shown any bit of like wanting to even use a power or doing it. And I don't think she does. From everything that I'm seeing from Chola, it seems like she's more invested in the community. And
Right.
she's one of those, there's an image really quick that they see in like the first episode where you see them in their regalia, like wardrobe and their robes. And I'm like, oh, she's one of the dancers. Like she's very invested in the community. And I don't think she really is like, I'm a superhero.
And it might be she had a moment in her youth where that power did come to fruition, but the choices she's made since then is to not be a warrior, but to be like you said, like a community member. Like,
I have two things.
Okay.
My first question: do you think it's her that's giving birth?
oh, that in the trailer we've seen scenes of like a woman giving birth.
She's in the episodes too.
I thought she was
it's
there.
It's very quick.
Yeah,
it's very
we've seen the
quick.
flashes of it in the episodes. I took that to be the birth of Maya, because I thought Chula
you
was
think
there
that's
in the
her
background,
mom?
like helping.
I think she looks
hard
too
to
much like
tell.
like a young Chola.
Okay,
And
I thought
so
it was
I'm
the
like-
mom
but it
having
could be.
Echo.
It could be. The
Or
reason I'm
having Maya.
asking is also because in the third episode they bring up how like Tucklo's dad brings up how like, oh, women are life bringers
Right.
and we are
life
not.
takers.
Yeah, we're life takers. And they talk about in the Choctaw like tradition how women are the essence of everything, because they not only do they do agriculture, but they're giving birth to
Right,
people,
yeah.
and that's their power. And in the actual Choctaw like nation, they're like, no, women are superheroes in themselves. So I was like, what if she gave birth to the superhero gene that is
okay.
her? That's why I was like, ooh, it's probably Echo's mom that had it, and she didn't really talk about it or do anything, and it went down to Echo.
Yeah. I mean, Jess, you kind of get into this in the start of the breakdown, but what do you believe the spiral pattern might be? Is that like a traditional thing?
I do.
In the Choctaw, or is there? You think there's like a significance to that?
Yes and no. I think it is very traditional because it's just the Choctaw like designs. They have a lot of traditional designs, and the spirals are a big part of it because in some forms they were saying this is the serpent from the underworld. There's a lot of things that it can also mean. There's so many things because it's oral literature. So
Right.
handed down. People change it a little bit. But I think specifically this one that I acknowledge in my breakdown is that it's moving counterclockwise for the creator, so that humans have that form of humility. So they're like, oh, we're doing this for our creator to show them that we are like not lesser, but like we're humans, and that's our creator, that's God. And I think just that spiral is meaningful for that part, because I think it's I take this with a grain of salt.
Okay.
I think they're trying to like remind us of Cohorty's episode of What If. Because I think that's specifically why it's blue. I was trying to look up everything about like, oh, what would blue, water, blue anything be reminiscent for the Choctaw people? And it was really hard to just find it. They just came from water. They came from clay. And then that episode of Cohorty came out, and I was like, oh, underground, this blue lagoon, this fountain of youth.
When the show started, I was like, is this trying to be that same lake? Or
There's a ton of there's so many different Native American tribes, and they all have different origin or creation stories, but a lot of them do come from like underground in a cave. They came up to earth. The Mohawks were like the only people that were like, oh, our person came from the sky, and she brought her stuff from the sky. But again, oral literature changes over time, but a lot of them start from underground. They came out, got on earth, and was like, I'm alive. I love their origin stories. Their creation stories are beautiful. But I don't know.
So what do you think these powers could be that Echo has?
It has to be the embodiment of just what her ancestors are good at.
Right.
I don't know what the first one is, though. That's the problem. I like clearly from the second episode, it's like strength. She's like, I can lift a fucking train car.
Right.
And then the and the last episode, I'm like, oh, she has the accuracy, like the precision with anything she's throwing.
Yeah.
Like anything projectile. But then I was like, I don't know what it is with Chaffa.
Yeah, what
I
is
don't
Chaff?
know.
What are you pulling from Chaffa? Or
And I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
like it sets the lineage, and along the way, these powerful women, as society and culture evolves, they have to get better and adapt to it. So each one pulls in what the woman before was able to do and like builds on it, right?
Yeah, but I still don't know what it is. Because a piece of me was like, okay, so if Chaffa's like one of the first people from Under Earth, I'm still also just like, okay, so what? She saved her people.
Right.
She saved her people. So I'm like, is she just a leader, a natural born leader?
Yeah.
It's also, I was also thinking, what if she is the sapsucker, the woodpecker? If she like embodies it to send the messages out to actually alert people? Because it always seems like anytime someone gets that spiral and gets visions, it's her the first one they see. I don't know if it's chronological or if she's just the one reaching out.
Yeah. I wonder too, is like, is the sapsucker like a warning, or is it like this is supposed to happen? Like, is as tragic as it is Maya's mother, does this have to happen to unlock
Stop.
it's that thing,
God.
a terrible thing, but like without that moment happening, does it put Maya on a different path for good or bad?
That's a great question. I want that answered because every time I read about the woodpecker or the sapsucker, it was just mainly like, oh, sometimes it'll give you news. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but it's going to give you news. And you just got to be prepared for it. And I was like, what do you mean be prepared for it? What do you mean? What am I doing? And I think Chola, unfortunately, got that like inkling a little too late.
Yeah, she's like, something's going to happen. I can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, but she didn't also like do anything. Do you think she's like
you
the
don't
supreme?
know what it means it's going to be.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, when he said like Powerball, I was like, oh, so she can clearly ask for things.
We can all ask. We might not get what we want, but we can ask.
We'll continue our discussion, but first we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors that help bring Inside Marvel to you.
That's right. We've been sponsored by Factor before, but we want to thank them again because they're sponsoring us today, and boy, are their meals good. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. Plus, over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritional and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip the overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door. They're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. More times to watch Echo. Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep me going no matter what happens or what's on my schedule. And with offerings like Protein Plus and Keto, these can help you stay on track if you've got new diet goals in the new year. Factor has everything you need for a week of flavorful nutritional eats. So right now, head on over to factormeals.com/breakroom50 and use code breakroom50 to get 50% off. That's code breakroom50 at factormeals.com/breakroom50 to get 50% off. Do it. And also be sure to check out nerdriot.shop, where you can always grab the latest and greatest in new Rockstars gear. We have some Echo-themed merch in the shop right now you can check out. I'm wearing one of them right now. Who's the monster? I'm the monster. Me. Maya. You and I were a lot alike.
Ew! I gagged and I threw up in my mouth.
Did you like that job I sent you out?
Ew, stop.
Maya, you just need a job where you use your brain. I'm offering you something, Maya. It's a little Clint Eastwood.
I think it's too good because it's making me fucking sick.
A cat came in the other day with a body. It was a very dear friend of mine, and he whirls me to have the cat back.
Stop! You sound like him in Men in Black.
Kingpin and Ed in the same show?
Yeah, I was like,
sugar. I need sugar with water.
How you like this?
Like this? Yeah, like this. You can also check out our Echo shirt that features the word Echo and ASL with some bloody knuckles. Awesome stuff. Support the channel and check out all of our great merch options over at nerdriot.shop. Are you ready? I shouldn't have done it. Evan's mad at me. Evan's mad at me.
And then I couldn't stop thinking of Jessica. I command you as your maker.
As your maker, I command you.
So was Daredevil's appearance one and done? Do we think that Daredevil? Do we think that Daredevil will appear again in the series, or do you think it's done and then it's finished?
I mean, I think he'll come back again.
No.
You don't think so?
It's May. He's in She-Hulk Town.
It's May. He's in She-Hulk Town. Oh yeah, give me the timelines here.
Yeah, so it's 2015 because he got so right when he breaks into the blah, blah, blah,
Right.
and he starts fighting her, and she does that ballerina kick that I.
But that was during.
That was
way
and
in
that's
the
it. And he's
past.
wearing Melvin Potter. 5 months from that time is May.
No, 5 months from the shooting.
5 months from. They jump 5 months.
After the shooting at Christmas time, they jumped 5 months. So now
and
it's
that's
May.
And
2025.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, so he's about to go to New York.
Yeah,
I see what
he's in New York
because that was summertime.
So spring to summer.
Summertime.
Spring to summer.
But,
no, he's going to New
we
York.
could have a time jump in the show, right? If they in the final episode
They got 2 episodes left.
wrap up stuff and she goes back to. I mean, I don't
They're gonna
expect
do a time-
Daredevil to show up in Oklahoma. That's not going to happen.
No.
Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that
Also,
be so weird?
I'd be like, get out. You're not allowed here.
You're not allowed to
Also,
come.
Wilson Fisk isn't allowed there. I don't like that he just like showed up and was like, I can be wherever I want.
Yeah.
I was
I
like-
mean, I thought maybe that was a vision. I don't know
It
how
kind
real
of
that
was.
was.
Well,
It looked green screened. Very green screened.
It didn't look right.
didn't
But I
look
also
right.
didn't know if I didn't like it because he's, no offense, he's just being weird with his hands. If you notice that scene, it's very. I was like, stop.
He's always kind of been weird with
Well,
his hands.
he's like nervous,
yeah.
and his shoulders are to his ears.
Well, I
and
think
he's
it's
like,
because they were green screening it, and they're like, keep your hands by your side, so we don't have to like fill in this
so
weird
wild.
spot.
He's too busy doing Men in Black 6. That's so wild. No, I think it's gonna be one and done. Unlike She-Hulk, where we're like, we clearly know. Like, I think it was
You
funny.
could work him back into the
Yeah,
story.
you could work it back.
It'd
And
be weird.
also,
yeah.
she was like just jumping out of the box. She was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and that's what happened. He just showed up by even plopped back in the scene. But this
What
is
about
like
any other cameos for these final 2 episodes?
bullseye, bitch.
Bullseye?
Sorry, bullseye.
But
bitch.
would that be confusing for the audience?
No, stop.
It's the same Bullseye from the Netflix
Yes.
series.
Okay. So I think I'm not joking when me and Eric talked about it too. They're trinkling in little. They know Disney MCU knows to bring in the Netflix Daredevil.
Right.
Starting with Netflix Daredevil. Those shows were really well written. Like, I'm sorry, season 1 Jessica Jones. These were fun shows. Punisher was great shows. So they're gonna slowly just take their things,
what they like
and they're gonna take what they like. And it's crazy to me because I'm like, I didn't think they would take Bullseye. I think they would just leave him because also Bullseye got worked on by another character in the show. So you're incorporating that person as well. But if you're bringing in the Black Cartel that's literally his number 1 enemy, it just seems fun to bring in Bullseye to go against Echo. Those, because it's also like people keep being like, Eric was like, oh yeah, we're gonna see the Baxter Foundation. I'm like, that will take away from Echo.
Yeah.
But Bullseye won't take away from Echo.
Is it a Bullseye working for Wilson Fisk?
I want it to be a Bullseye from the comic that is like on his own and just
Trying to get revenge.
Wants to get revenge.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing. He was just going after like he was named like Theodore Zorak or whatever in the comics, but I think that's Zane in this. He was just going after him because Zane was just like a fucking monster.
I hope Zane's around for the next 5 Marvel projects. I really enjoy Zane's energy.
Brad Wonderbaum said, he's Kingpin's gonna be the Thanos, and I'm like, I kind of just want him to keep walking around in Marvel spotlight.
If Kingpin's the Thanos, this is my Ebony Maw.
Yeah, no,
100%.
100%. I need him to be, and he's so good.
What accent
He's
is he
fun.
doing? Anything?
I
Is
thought
it like
it was-
Eastern European?
I thought it was. I was like,
Is it like South Africa?
I gave up and said it was like a British man born in Australia.
Maybe.
I was so
don't know.
confused. Okay.
Here's my
You go.
surprise cameo
Oh,
that I think would maybe shock
Abe,
people.
you better be
You know,
serious.
you're talking about the Netflix stuff, and there's been a lot of hay made about like, oh, they're not bringing back the actor who played Foggy, right? What if he
you
shows
want
up at the
Foggy?
end of this? Well,
I didn't mean to say that in that.
whether or
tone.
not I want it,
I like that actor.
People love the Foggy from Netflix or Karen.
Is he-
I mean, would
is
that
he
be
in
surprising?
politics?
Because there was a big deal like they're not in Born Again. How could they do this? Blah 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 blah. But what if they secretly are and they've done a really good job covering up, and we get like a little.
Is Foggy still in politics, or is he going back to being a lawyer?
I think they would retcon that part of it and like take him out of politics.
There's little things that honestly, after time, will just be too big, and you have to deal with it, and you have to shrink it down. And that's one of those things you have to shrink down.
Here's who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Wong. Prepare yourselves. Here's a question for you, Jessica.
Oh.
Is Echo Marvel's most dangerous MCU character? And when I say that, I'm speaking about Episode 2 when the train blows up. That is an act of terror.
Yeah, it's an act of
terror. She set a bomb in Oklahoma, let it travel across the country on a train, dangerous. It arrives at a train station. She don't know who's there. She doesn't know who's going to open the box. What if it got stopped by customs? Not that there's customs.
Yeah, the
on a
railroad
domestic railroad.
customs.
What if the train inspector one
I
day
ask
is
you a
like,
question?
hey, this one's up for a random check. I'm going to check DX9 for no reason. I'm just going to open this one box.
Oh,
Kabloom,
my face!
kabloom.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's worse, a public execution or blowing up a warehouse of people?
I mean, the public execution was done in a different country.
And to be fair, and wait, when I didn't mean to say to be fair, that was not the right word to use. I'm just adding
What
this.
if neither are correct?
No. I meant to say, you know how many times bombs go off in New York City in the MCU? Like, I'm sorry.
New York gets it
but
rough.
a public execution, that doesn't happen every goddamn day.
They're both bad. I'm
just saying, if there's two, which one's the
But
lesser?
I mean, like, more people died in the bomb going off.
Well, look here. No one heard it. If the tree falls.
Well, this is Marvel's first Spotlight series, right?
Yeah.
And they have a chance to do something really interesting with this series, allowing them to expand on more grounded real world themes in like bigger ways. Things that, you bring up Falcon and Winter Soldier, they kind of started talking about that, but they didn't really go into it because that show had been changed so much because of the pandemic, and they had to change storylines that were going to be on that show about a virus. They had to like completely cut them out.
I feel so bad.
So it's kind of like a last minute whatever. And they mentioned Madripoor
My
in
favorite
Echo.
place.
When we saw Madripoor and Falcon and Winter Soldier, these shows want to kiss.
They're kissing. They're that's the thing. They're trying to stay as grounded as possible, which I love. I'm you guys, come on. I love space.
And Vicky,
too.
I mean, we saw Vicky get a shot immediately, and his blood just.
The first one I noticed, other than the guy getting pushed through the wall and his head slammed onto the ground, is when she's fighting in that den of the drug den. She takes the guy's head and slams it on a table. Imagine curb stomping, but vertical. She did that to the table and his teeth fell out. And I was like, oh. Also, they said, what did he say? He said Fisk
he was like,
loyalty.
Fisk wanted to thank you for your good work. And the guy goes, oh, I know that code word.
In my breakdown, I said, that guy wasn't in on the joke. And I just kept going. And then he dives.
Do you think those two were friends? Do you think they were just starting to get along?
I don't know.
And
Well, everything's fake.
Today's the day. They said the code word.
Oh, my face. Also, the goon jumps through the door to shoot one person.
Yeah.
And I was like, sir.
A bit dramatic.
This is your first mission after like 8 years.
Those two dudes being like, oh, this is who they sent to join us. Okay, it's your first mission. Oh, great.
And they're like doing.
And they're in there like, they're doing their like jumping around. And there's that one moment where one of them looks at her is like, are you gonna do something? Get a gun. What are you doing?
And they're like arm wrestling people.
Yeah.
Also,
did they not talk about this before?
No. And the choreography, I love the choreography for Echo. I'm gonna stand up really quick. I'm not gonna come out of shot. I'm gonna stay in the shot.
Okay.
And I think there's a hole in my pants, so I won't stretch too much.
Okay.
But there is a part in Echo that she straight up, oh my God, she's fighting Daredevil and she holds it. She holds it and it goes, Kah! And
she
hits him down.
She cocked her foot. Right? She held her leg back and then let it spring forward. That was badass.
I was like, it was so beautiful. The choreography in that 6-minute scene is so good. Daredevil is Charlie Cox is clearly so like, I love doing this shit. I've been doing it forever. I did it for 3 seasons straight. Yeah. And Aqua Cox just showed up and was like,
I'm ready.
Watch me flip you over the.
She's been doing martial arts her whole life.
And in the comics, she did ballet to actually just make it and that kick, I was like, this is the ballet.
I like that little hold and then the let go of the kick.
It was so good.
That was a lot of fun.
The choreography is insane. These people work very freaking hard, and that's why I'm addicted to action movies. I'm like,
and it wasn't CG, right? It was very nice to have two physical characters having a fight.
The stunt coordinator, I think, for this is Mark something. Oh my God, I can't. Mark something. I think he also did the stunts for another Marvel property that was really good and organized like this. That's all I'm saying is I'm like, of course, close to home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do we think that's what they're going for with this? Assuming we're gonna get more of these Spotlight titles, which I hope we do.
I do.
Are they going for that Netflix vibe, that more gritty, more grounded? Yeah. Hands punching each other.
I think they're
no laser eyes.
I think they're like us. They're like everybody else. That's we want to dabble in everything. We don't want to just dabble in one thing. I think the greatest example, WandaVision, was just so sad. but so good and just so chaotic. And I think they want to dabble in more things like that, but it's kind of hard when it's not Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Right. And that wasn't a show that was doing a ton of like fighting, stunt fighting, you know, the big battles at the end of that show.
It was just a woman with a broken heart and understanding it completely. Yeah. Oh, God. But I think they want to touch on those things and they want to make stuff that's more grounded because you're also getting a lot of directors and writers that are like, I would also like to create something that speaks to me.
And with these shows, you know, a movie you have 2 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes to like tell your story. You got to pack it all in there. And that's where I want to see my big visuals and like crazy, like world threatening, universe threatening stuff. I don't necessarily want it on my TV shows always. And when you have this time over several episodes to tell a story and you could be a little more patient. Yeah. Have more grounded stories. You know, every Marvel thing doesn't need to be the end of the world. You know, we rag on Secret Invasion, but like that kind of just big ending fight that it didn't need. It could have been a much quieter, gritty story.
I was down with like Olivia Colman's side of just like, oh yeah, this is actually the scariest thing that she's torturing.
Or like, you know, if it's just, you know, it's just Nick Fury trying to tell the world that there's Skrulls hidden and no one will listen to him, right? Like something like that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what these Marvel Spotlight series can do.
And I think that's all, I love it. I want them to keep doing it. I just do. I understand that Disney was probably like, hey, introducing these characters on this platform was not the best way to do it. And when I say that, I was really upset at first when they were like, we're going to drop Echo. And I was like, it's not going to get a lot of people like attention because we only saw her in a series where she wasn't the main character. Right. So people that didn't read her in the comics are not just that interested. I was like, how are they supposed to be enamored with her? And this is what Marvel Spotlight's going to start doing. It's going to focus on these new characters and give them a grounded story, backstory. That way we can just shoot them off into the properties. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to watch Marvel Spotlight, then that's fine. That's completely fine. This is for people that are going to get into the new characters and they'll leave normal Disney Plus and normal big movies, studio movies to the old ones, the old people, to the Guardians. But no, that is how I feel. I love Echo.
Great. I'm excited for these next 2 episodes.
I'm excited. I'm scared. PC and what I do best is I like, because we dissect the trailers, is seeing the pieces that we're missing. Yeah. And we're missing all that flashback of her as a child. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then the ice cream man. Did you know there's a bunch of deleted scenes from Hawkeye?
I'm sure there are.
Oh, there's a bunch.
There are.
There's a bunch of deleted scenes from Hawkeye, and it's I don't think it's this big of a note, but it's the scene of her as a child doing karate, and Kingpin is like, "Let's go get ice cream. Your dad's gonna stay at work late," and I'm like, "Did he already? What is he doing? Is he already planning something?"
No, I think I take Fisk as the guy to use people until he get everything he can out of them. I don't think from day one he was like, I'm going to kill this guy.
No, but do you think because in the comic books he was like, I don't even want this kid. And then when he realized it was a prodigy, he was like, But do you think in this story he's like, she reminds me of me. Like, this could be my daughter.
Maybe
and
he
then
saw something in
was
her.
like, I need to get
maybe
this.
He's hanging out with Vanessa. He's having a moment and he's... Oh, no, this is pre-Vanessa.
We should have a child.
This is pre-Vanessa, and maybe he's in his feelings that day, and he just saw Miracle on 34th Street, and he's like, man, I want a kid. I really want a little. But then at the same time, he's probably like, I can't have my own kid because you know how that goes.
Why can't he have his own?
I killed my father. I'm not going to have a kid. Sitting around, hammers in the house.
I thought you were going to say that he's going to crush like Vanessa. He would. He's like the Hulk.
Vanessa, we can't do missionary.
You're just going to have to get on top, Vanessa.
Sorry.
This is so hard for me.
I hired 6 goons to lift me up so I could be on top of you.
Did you know there's a version?
They're gonna wear eye masks, Vanessa.
We'll close in a second. There's a version of Blade where Kingpin is that fat vampire that got the electricity on them, and it's so funny. Go look up that comic book. It's just one comic book. It's so funny, and it's Kingpin, and he's like, ah!
Get out of here. In this show, Jessica, please.
Okay, and that's it for this episode of Inside Marvel. Don't forget to subscribe to all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network. Go follow this man at Grin and Barrick.
Go follow this woman at Lulu_Clemons.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye.